Safety, Education and Administration.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for yielding the floor to me. My name is Nnenna Elendu, Ukeje, member representing Bende Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm from Abia State. I want to thank you very much indeed for yielding the floor to me, and I have, of course, listened to the impassioned plea of the leader of the House, as well as the plea that has come from the chair. And Mr. Speaker, sir, let me make the point that the leader said that it was in the interest of country. We sitting on this floor, across the floor, are very patriotic Nigerians. And whether we're of the ruling party or the opposition, everything that we do is in the interest of the country. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, and I am very pleased that it comes from the leader, when the leader is on record to have said that a strong opposition also helps a democracy grow. And it is to that end, Mr. Speaker, that we feel... Could I land, please, leader? You have pleaded. Don't let me rescind your plea. Mr. Speaker, sir, for me, in looking at this, a lot has been spoken to the procedure. And I believe that the reason that there is a procedure is because democracies are built on systems, structures, and institutions. And at every point in time, when we flout those systems, structures, and institutions, we weaken our democracy.
Honorable Nnenna, let me interject you. You're going to have your floor. It is not our procedure it is the time that we are compressing. It's time that we are compressing. We are not jumping anything. You will agree with me that time is being compressed because of what has been happening in the past. So we are trying to correct it. It's the time that is being compressed. So, Honorable Nnenna, we are procedural, but time is being compressed.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, sir, I yield to the superior argument coming from the chair. I yield, but unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, I do not concede. Now, let me state, Mr. Speaker, sir, that in this document, and I refer to page 33, that there are risk, likelihoods, impact, and mitigation strategies. Now, these risk impacts are the things that may or may not make the budget a reality. And so for me, Mr. Speaker, when we say that we will have the conversation about the medium-term expenditure framework today, and we'll debate the budget on Tuesday, I'm very concerned, considering that number 4 says failure to meet non-oil revenue projections, and it says that there shall be key legislative amendments required to operationalize some of the specific interventions targeted at improving the IGR. Collection efficiency of major revenue generating agencies would also be improved upon. Now, I can recognize that when they speak to collection efficiency, but when they talk about key legislative amendments, it is within the purview of the legislature. Therefore, our buy-in must be sought on the key legislative that would give any kind of legitimacy to the budget that has been brought to us. Mr. Speaker, sir, I know that you say, and I am inclined to agree with you, that it is a document, and therefore we have the powers to make any amendments, any inputs. But let me make the point that for us to railroad the House into saying we will discuss the MTEF today, assuming that we all agree without conceding to the legislative inputs, that by Tuesday we'll be ready to debate the budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am a little concerned about that. To that end, Mr. Speaker, I believe that we need to take this document, look at this document, have a proper conversation on this document, look at the benchmark, look at the projected oil revenues, look at the mitigating factors against the projected oil revenues. Part of the problem says here is a continued conversation in the Niger Delta. What is the outcome of that? Engage with all the committee chairmen so that they can give us a realistic position based on which we can now start to have a proper conversation on the budget. Mr. Speaker, I do not believe that anybody in this House is unaware of the fact that the appropriation bill is the single most important piece of legislation that will be passed in this House. And therefore, we're all desirous of passing that piece of legislation. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, the impact on the budget and on our constituents and the generality of Nigerians, we will share in the blame if that budget is not properly approved because the budget was outside of the projected revenue or outside of the... Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, in a bid for us not to be part of the problem, but a part of the solution, Mr. Speaker, I do not have a problem with talking about the MTEF or discussing the MTEF, but I believe that we must be very granular, boil down to all the issues, deal with the issues properly, so that when we do present the appropriation bill before the people of Nigeria, it will be a budget that nobody will be able to argue with. Thank you.